Hey guys, long time no see. I am so excited to be here, and I feel like this is the first time I've ever filmed myself, which is not true. The amount of videos on this page prove that this is not my first time doing this. But I'm so excited and nervous that I'm afraid that I cannot speak, especially in English, because as some of you know, and if you remember, English is not my first language, and I learned it throughout the time. Okay, let's just rewind back, and I should really calm down before I just spiral. I haven't been here for 5, maybe 6 months. I'm going to repeat that 6 months. And not because I didn't want to be here. Trust me, I did, okay? My last video was uploaded in winter. And right now we are in the middle of summer. It is hot. And I hate summer. Sorry, I just needed to mention that. But I have two of the most valid reasons. Okay, and the fact that you see that I'm smiling now is just a coping mechanism, because all I wanted was for this channel to do well, and I was doing all that I could to just keep the consistency and upload videos on a regular basis, and then two things happened that just left me with no other choice but to not upload anything for 6 months. The first one, we had a war here, as you may know. So let's just say when you were there worried about this war because of economic reasons and I don't know, any reasons that you had, we were here being bombed. Yeah. We woke up every day with the sounds of explosions, and we went to bed with the sounds of explosions, and we woke up in the middle of the night via explosions. And actually, believe it or not, that is not the reason I did not upload any videos. The reason was that, if you don't know this, in Iran, how do I say this without getting myself arrested? We don't have any sort of freedom of speech. That's just non-existent here. Speech freedom? You want to have freedom in your speech? Oh god. Nope, that's not happening here. So let's just say that the first bombs hit on 9 a.m. in the morning, right? By 11, the same day, the same morning, we were cut off from the internet completely. We had no way of communicating with anybody. And when I tell you that we were cut off from the internet, I'm sure that you cannot imagine that. Because let's guess, everything that you do on a regular basis is connected to the internet somehow. Right now, you are over there fighting over the fact that some authors want to write books with AI. And we are over here begging for our human rights to be connected to internet to Google something. Okay? For 88 days. Think about that. Think about the amount of days that I just told you. 88 days. For 88 days, we had no such a thing as internet. Can you believe that? In this day and age that we do everything via internet, we had none of that. So let's just say you want to go somewhere and you need to find a location via Google Maps. Nope. Just go buy a physical map, I guess. That was the first thing. Imagine you're thinking about a song and you want to search the lyrics. No, you cannot. Imagine that your favorite singer-songwriter has a new album and you want to listen to that. No, you cannot do that. Imagine that you want to update a software that is related to something that's so essential for your health. No, you cannot do that because you do not have internet here for 88 days. Yeah, that is the kind of government that we are living with. And okay, I'm here to talk about books. And I'm trying so hard to not get political here because, oh boy, after those 88 days when the internet was finally restored, I opened TikTok. And the things that the Americans were saying were so great that I was left wanting to go back to no internet at all. So I'm not going to get into this because honestly, we are going through enough here to not have a fight with people on the internet about this. And this is my book channel, so I want it to be fun. I'm just going to keep it to a shortened version of what I wanted to say. So please listen to me in the next, I don't know, 1 to 2 minutes that I'm going to talk, and then we will get to books. If you don't want to hear me talk, I will put timestamps. Just jump to the book version of this video. Please, 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 I'm begging you. Stop trying to educate us Iranians about how we should feel about the situation that is going on in our country. Okay? You do not know what is going on here, and if you do, you've heard it on the news or read a book about it. Maybe, if that. But we are living here. This is our livelihood. This is the thing that we have to face day after day after day after day. Okay? Stop trying to educate us about it, and please stop trying to tell us how we should feel about this. Or shaming us about how we do not feel about this. Because you don't know anything, respectfully. I'm not saying this as a bad thing. You have the luxury and the privilege of not knowing anything about what we're going through. Okay? Because you can say that the government over there is not the way you want it to be and you have some problems with it. First of all, you can say that. And second of all, the problems that you have are very valid problems. But they are the problems that you're facing to make a better country. The problems that we are facing are so that somebody doesn't shoot us in the head. So please, don't try to educate us about anything. That is so disrespectful, especially because for some reason you think that we are uneducated. Believe me, we're not. I know that in your idea, the Middle East is so different with America or Europe, and it is culturally. But when you go to education and understanding, we are as capable as you are. Trust me, we can make thoughts. We know what logical thoughts are. We get it. You don't have to get on TikTok and tell us, this is a war. We know. This is our homes getting bombed. We get it. Trust me. The economic ramifications of that war are seen everywhere in our day-to-day life. Okay. I'm getting mad. I don't want to be mad. I'm not here to be mad. I was happy to be here and I'm going to keep being happy. I did not mean to disrespect you as an American. And I know that many of you have been so kind and supportive and you have been so great. Having this channel and seeing the comments have been such a great pleasure and comfort for me over the past 6 months of everything that we have been going through. I'm not talking to every one of you. It's just that I just had this pent of anger of some people trying to tell us how to feel about our own country, and I am sorry if it was rude or loud. I'm just going to now cut it off. Trust me, I'm a nice person. I don't usually yell. Unless it's about political stuff that I'm just going to keep it away from this channel and just not get into this. As an Iranian that has been in the war zone for the past, I guess, 5 months now. I know there's a ceasefire, but whatever. I think I have the right to speak on this matter and seeing that this is a kind of a platform, I just wanted to put my thoughts here and let's just move on. So, seeing that we were cut off from the internet completely, so we had no new musics, no podcasts, no YouTube videos, no TikToks, no Instagram, no chatting with your friends. So, what did I do to spend my time? First of all, I studied. Because believe it or not, this is the year that I have the exam that decides my whole future. And yes, I have the weight of that added to all the worries that we have. But other than studying, I read a crazy amount of books. So imagine that I'm at home. This is the first days of the war. We are hearing crazy explosions that are just the earth shakes, we see light, we hear so many sounds, and then we try to gauge where it was, what it was, can we see where the explosion is. Anyways, we're trying to just learn how to cope with this reality of war, and we're trying to learn how to have a routine and a life, seeing that we don't know how long this is going to go on. This might be our life for years. So we're trying to find some kind of a routine and normalcy in this mess. And I sat there and I thought, what do I do when I'm spiraling out of control? What do I do when I need to comfort myself and when I need to give myself a purpose to just go on? I read books. So why not? And luckily, God helped me and blessed me that before actually the first bombs hit, for weeks we were expecting that this is going to happen. And for weeks we were just waiting for this tension to just break out, and what happens. And even on this channel, in every video that I have after what happened in January happened, I am talking about the fact that a war might happen, the internet might just go away completely. I'm constantly talking about it because it wasn't a shock to any of us. We just knew. I'm sure you did too. So I had some books downloaded on my phone and on my iPad, and that was what saved me during those 88 days of no internet. So God bless books, because I don't know what I would have done without them. And I read, considering again, war happening, I read a lot of books. And I read good books too. I mean, the scores that I gave into this, sorry, I can't I can't look at my phone and talk at the same time because second language. The ratings that I gave, did I say score? Sorry. The ratings that I gave to these books are normally 4, 4.5, or 5. So it was a good reading experience. The only downfall to it was that since I had no access to the internet, I couldn't download new books and new releases. And I had so many new releases that I wanted to read. So I just read my backlog and the books that I wanted to read for a very, very, very long time. So know that the new releases are generally not here. Yeah, that's it. Let's get into the books. I will talk about I'm going to add something to this long intro. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I feel like I should update you on this. Maybe I shouldn't, but let's just go for it. I've talked about my ex on this channel before because of the love I still had, because of the respect, because of everything that happened. Books just remind me so much of that relationship. And I just feel like I should talk about the things that I feel so deeply. And that relationship has been something that I've talked about here. Not constantly, but yeah, there have been mentions. I just wanted to update you that since we had that situation going on and everything was like crazy, we were worried, we were scared, we were worried for our loved ones. We didn't know if we would survive the next day or if we would wake up in the morning. I texted my ex. After 2 years of no contact, I texted my ex. I texted the ex that left me. Don't yell at me, okay? I have the war card to play. Okay, there was a war. What better time to text your ex than the time that the bombs are falling on your head? Just wanted to mention it here that, yeah, that's what I did. I have no comments to make. I liked you to know that, and now I'm just going to get into the books before you yell at me. I'm going to cover the books that I read in, where are they? Hold on. I have them saved on the Notes app on my phone because, again, no Goodreads to save books on. So I just wrote them down, the date I started, the date I finished, the rating on my Notes app. Yes. We're going back to the Stone Ages, apparently. Okay, March. I'm going to cover March and April here, and then since I don't want this to get too long, because guess what? We don't really have great internet yet. We never had, but it's worse now because of everything that happened. So I'm afraid that I won't be able to upload the video if it's too long. So I'm going to separate it into two parts. I'm going to cover April and March now here. Then I'm going to record another video and cover May, June, and July that we're right now in. Because the amount of books that I read were decreasing. Okay. We'll get to that. Let's just open the file that I have for March. On March 3rd, I started Forget Me Not by Julie Soto. I started this book because it was a second chance romance. And right now, knowing what was going to happen a few months or weeks after reading this book, I'm saying that it was foreshadowing because, they were exes after 3 years. They met, they talked, and you know what I did because I just told you. So that's funny. That's a funny foreshadowing. I finished it on March 6th and I gave it 5 stars. I love second chance romance. Please, no pun intended. Okay, let's just skip it to the books. I love reading it. I just love the tension that there is between two people that have been together and they had a messy breakup and they still have some unfinished business. And they just meet each other for some reason or another. And that tension that is between them, that there's some still remaining love and resentment, and they have some unsaid words. That's perfect tension. It's one of my favorite subgenres and tropes, I guess. I always go for second chance romance, and even if the second chance romance is not that good, still because of the fact that it is second chance romance, it hits me. But this was a very well done one. I love the dynamic between these two people. What were their names? Emma and Elliot? If I'm right, then I'm a genius because it was months ago. I like the dynamic between them. I really love the boy, if his name was Elliot. He was moody, he was kind, he was really, really great. I just loved the tension between them and I loved the dynamic that they had. It was one of the second chance romances that I really enjoyed. On March 6th, I started Love Me Like You Shouldn't. I gave this one, after finishing it this next day on March 7th, a 4 star. This silence is because I'm thinking if I should overshare or not. I had a teeny tiny crush on my therapist. And that's why I picked up this book. I'm kidding, okay? I just love Harper Bliss, and I think that the way she writes lesbian and sapphic romances is really unique. Especially the smut scenes are very real. As somebody who has been in this type of relationships, she writes them as somebody who has been there, and it's very realistic and close to what the true situation between two women are. And I just love the way that they flirt with each other. I just read every book that she writes. I've read all of her books, I think, at least the ones that are connected in the Harper Bliss universe. But the thing that I said about the therapist was not wrong. I just didn't know that this was going to be about that. I just started and I was like, ooh, there's a therapist and a patient. Not a taboo romance. They fix the situation, but it was funny to see it. Don't worry, I don't go to therapy with that therapist anymore. Okay, I recognize the situation, we fixed it. Okay, chill. I'm such an oversharer. That's what I've figured out about myself in this video, that I just overshare to the degree that I shouldn't overshare. Okay. March 7th, after finishing the last book, I started Forever Interrupted and finished it. Oh, it took me 4 days to finish this book, and it's not a very long book. I finished it on March 11th, and I gave it a 5 star. Um, I think I have only one or two of the Taylor Jenkins Reid books left, and then I'll be done. I love her writing. I love the historical fiction books, but I also love her regular books that she came up with years ago. I don't think she right now writes them anymore. They're romances, and they're not romances. What do you call them? Literally fiction? I think they're, I don't know, some kind of fiction, but I really enjoy them, maybe even more. I just love the fact that the story feels cozy and healing. Every single book that I read from her backlog was somehow healing a person going through a journey, and that journey healed that person and you, and it was just really beautiful. So I just love her books, and this one was not an exception. I gave it 5 stars, and I really enjoyed the way she explored grief and everything that a person feels when they lose their partner, and the future that they built up in their head, and now it's just gone, and they have to just deal with that fact. And the truth that the reason that it hurts you doesn't mean that other people are not grieving the same person, and you should really have some grace for them too. It was a very beautiful book. On July. Hello, we're in July right now. On March 12th, I started Kisser Wants for Me because I was still in a sapphic mood, and I finished it on March 12th. I gave it 4.5 stars. This is her romance novel that has some sort of a Christmas vibe, and it was the one that I hadn't read before, even though I loved Here We Go Again. Hold on. And I thought, why not? I want something sapphic. I loved Here We Go Again. Let's just give her first book a try. It was not as good as Here We Go Again. I don't think anything will be as good as Here We Go Again for me, because it was a second chance romance. And it was really great. I just loved that book. But this one was great too. They meet on Christmas, and then one of them ghosts the other one. It's a miscommunication. Then they meet again when one of them, is fake dating the other one's brother on Christmas. Drama, I guess. It was fun. It was cute. It was a great time in that bleak days, but it wasn't like special. So 4.5. Then I read on March 14th Sociopath, and finished it on March 16th and gave it a 5 star. So, this was a memoir of a real PhD doctor and a sociopath, and I think it was a very important book to read. I was really enjoying the fact that I could be in her head and realize that how they really click. It was a very valuable experience for me. I think if you haven't read this book, please do, because I think there are a lot of misunderstandings and stigmas around sociopaths and psychopaths, but this one is about mostly sociopaths, and I think it was a very, very valuable book, and I hope that she writes more books and helps more people. I'm somebody that has a clinical depression and anxiety, and I have so many hard days, and it just takes everything in me to just survive my own life and my own head. So I have so much respect for people sharing their experience with different type of mental disorders or mental problems, and I really respect people that work in mental health care, and they're good at it. They're trying to help. They're trying to get the whole community in a place that they can understand better and they can help better. I just have so much respect for that, and I had so much respect for the honesty in this book. It was just a great book. Wow, I pivoted hard. On March 16th, I started An Air Comes to Rise. Somehow I just got into fantasy all of a sudden. Finished it on March 24th, which shows that I wasn't really a fan. I gave it 3.5 stars. The only thing that I've written down is predictable twists. I'm going to add something to that. I don't really remember this book. There was nothing special about it. I think I liked the ending. Yes, the ending was good. The end part of it was some plot twists that I liked. They were not unpredictable. I could have predicted them, but it was good, and I could see a potential for the next books, and I think I will eventually get into reading the next ones. Just not right now, but I will. It's not a bad book by any means. I'm really interested into seeing where she can take this story. It can go very well or not so great. But in my opinion, it was a good book. Maybe if I hadn't read it in that situation and I was, I don't know, having fun in the middle of a jungle or camping, or when I was at our village in the mountains, I would have enjoyed it more. So I'm just saying that keep my opinion with a grain of salt because of the situation that I was in. But from what I read, this was a typical beginning of a YA or new adult fantasy series. There's a girl, she's poor. There's a government that's oppressive, and she has no parents. They're trying to survive, and she meets this Fae person. It's a very average one, but maybe give it a shot if you like YA fantasy. Oh, this is good. I went back to my roots because I realized that fantasy was not working. Okay, that was the time that I realized, okay, I'm in this very tense situation. My adrenaline is always on all-time high. I'm worried. I'm ready to jump and run at any second. Maybe fantasy is not what I should be reading right now. So I went back into romance, and I realized, let's just read her new book. And I read every step she takes. I started it on March 17th and finished it on March 19th. 5 stars. So, this one is about. Okay, sorry, I was just thinking about what I was thinking about while reading this book. I was like, okay, I'm sitting here in the dark. I'm hearing the explosion, but they are going on this very, very, very long hike, and it sounds delightful that at the end of the day they can just go to bed exhausted and slip it off. And I was like, if I survive this, I will go on a Camino when I can, and I stand by that. One day, if I survive, I will go on a Camino because it sounded really great and delightful. This is about, again, a Camino. It's a very long walk. It's supposed to be therapeutic, I think, and it's a group having this experience together. And our main character, Sadie, who's a redhead, yes, I remember that, is going on this trip because her sister, that was actually supposed to go on it, has broken her leg and she can't go, so she's supposed to go in substitute of her. And this whole group are gay people. This is a group for LGBTQ plus people, and Sadie, thinking that she's straight, is very uncomfortable being in this position of, okay, I should have been gay, but I'm not. It's just a fun group. I love the dynamic between Sadie and the other character that we have, Mal. I love the romance. The group dynamic was really fun. I loved seeing some queer people having fun together. And it was just great. It was a great experience. It was cozy. It was nice. It was healing. And it came at a very great time. So I enjoyed it so much. Still not as much as I loved Here We Go Again, but it's a very, very close competition. And there is a quote here that I don't remember it exactly, but it's something like fucking up your hair is a queer rite of passage. And I was like, yeah, yeah, it is. We just go with the scissors and just fuck your hair up or color it. I started with coloring it. I colored my hair blue when I was, how old was I? 13 or 14. That was the first that I was realizing that, oh, I'm queer. I'm going to color my hair blue. I'm a cliche. Okay, I was the clicheest cliche of all time. But yeah, it's a queer rite of passage. Okay, next book. I kept going on with the sapphic romances, apparently. March 19th, after finishing the last book, I started Backhanded Compliment. Okay, I have some things to say and then I will go to the rating. Let me. So this is like a sapphic romance with just a touch of magical realism, and the touch is just not that big of a deal. It's like they are soulmates in this world, or our world, and the only difference that we do use the fact that, okay, she's my soulmate, he's my soulmate, but they actually have that and it's written on their wrists, the name of their soulmate. And it's not like it's name, last name, the date of birth. It's just a name. And if they actually meet that person, that name at the silver line of their name will transform into a black writing. And the two characters that we have that are soulmates and the main characters of this book, Juliet and what was her name? Luca. They're tennis players, pro tennis players, and they hate each other because they're rivals. First of all, queer person. Second of all, a tennis player. Loved it. I loved the matches. I just love reading about tennis. Tennis is my favorite sport. It was really great. That was great. The tension was great. The tennis part was great. The fact that they were enemies to lovers were great. I hated Juliet, one of the characters. She was rude. She was so rude. She was so harsh. Everything that she said was a low blow. Like they were having an argument and it was like all good intention-y, and that's not a word. Tension is not a word. The tension was good. And then suddenly she just said something and I was like, cheap shot, low blow. Why did you say that? Everything that she said was a low blow. And I just didn't like that. At some point it became annoying and I didn't like her and I didn't want her to end up with Luca because I think Luca deserves so much better than Juliet. She was such a darling. I loved her. I would have married her. Yeah, and she's a tennis player, so yeah, I think I would have. But yeah, Juliet, I just didn't like Juliet. I warmed up to her and she stopped bothering me after some point of the book. But then we got to the end. The third act breakup was the cheapest attempt at a third act breakup that I've ever seen. So unnecessary, so out of the blue, and it was like, so it happened because it was supposed to happen. There were no consequences, and then we just moved on to the ending. And I think it just ruined it for me. Juliet and the third act breakup just ruined the book for me, and I gave it 3.5 stars. Even though I should have given it 5 because it had things that I loved, like soulmates, sapphic, tennis players, matches. I didn't say it, but I finished it on March 22nd. After that, I just needed a break. So I didn't read any books for 4 days. And on March 26th, I started The Fourth Fans by Nyla K. Again, one of the books that I've been wanting to read for such a long time, and I never found the time. It was a long book. I was always in the middle of reading a book or wanting to read a book and a new release and something and something. And I was like, I need to read this book. I know I'm going to like it, but let's just skip it for a day that I have the time. What better time to read books when you have no internet and you are in the middle of bombings? No time, no better time. I read it. I gave it 3.5 stars. Finished it on March 28th. I know that the rating is not so great. I get that. I had some problems with it. I don't think it was a perfect book. But I'm telling you, even though I gave it a 3.5, it's not a I'm annoyed 3.5. It's I had a delightful time 3.5. I don't think it's a piece of literature or the best smut ever written, but it was really great. I loved seeing them together. It was such a fun time reading it, and I enjoyed it. I would tell anybody that wants to have a great time reading a gay, it's not a dark romance, just a gay, smutty romance, to give it a shot. I really enjoyed it. I can see that it's not a perfect book, but it was really amazing. And for some reason, it reminded me of reading fanfic. It had such fanfic vibes. And yes, I have read some, and I always read gay fanfics. And it really reminded me of that. And there was smut after smut after smut scenes in this book. And I loved that because that's why I was there. It's a stepbrother romance novel. What were you expecting? Shakespeare? Nope. You're there for the romance and more than that, the smut. And she delivered the smut, and the smut was really good. I have seen that people really ruin gay smut. Not this book. The smut between them was great and hot. And oh boy, did I enjoy it. Oh, there were cringy things in there. Like the thing that they call each other was so cringy. I'm sorry. The amount of times that they said baby was driving me up the wall. That was a very weird accent. Drive me up the wall. Drive was driving me up the wall. Wall. Yeah, there were cringy parts to the story, but overall it was great, especially because that's what I needed at the time. And last but not least, or maybe least, I read The Headmistress by Milena McKay. Started it on March 29th, finished it on March 30th, and I gave it 3 stars. So I read it because I loved A Whisper of Solace, one of my favorite books, one of my favorite sapphic romances. Love that. I think that was a masterpiece. Not so much this book. It was lacking. I don't know, it was just lacking. I don't know what it was lacking. I didn't like the characters that much. I didn't like the relationship between them that much. And it's exactly what the title is telling you. It's a boarding school for girls. There's a new headmistress. She's really, really, let's just say, not very likable. I don't want to be rude. She's sort of a bitch. Sorry. She's angry. She's just firing everybody. She's changing everything. And there's this teacher that has been there for her whole life that's very kind, trying to tame her and trying to help her build a better school. And yeah, it's the relationship between them. There was nothing special about this, and the atmosphere of the school that was supposed to help just didn't help. It was just there, and it was nothing special. So yeah, I had very great expectations from this book, and it really didn't deliver. So that's why I gave it 3 stars, and I ended March on a very down note. Sorry. Let's get to April, the month of my birth. Also the month that I read less books because I was spending my time talking with my ex. But I read books still, so let's talk about them. The first day of April, I started Emma by Jane Austen because it was like, okay, again, watching everything going on, maybe what I need is a fun classic romance. So I picked up Emma because I had the physical copy, and it's a very lengthy book. So I read a couple of chapters every day in the morning to start my day on a high note, I guess. I finished it on April 22nd. So it took me 22 days to finish this. And I'm a person that finishes a book in 2, maybe 3 days, but I was just lengthening the process because I was having fun, not because the book was really great, particularly. It wasn't the book, it was just the experience of being in a Jane Austen book, being in the old time England, and just being away from home while everything was just falling apart. That was really comforting for me. And I really enjoyed that experience. I had such great times just reading a few chapters in the morning of Emma and this tiny town that is filled with weird people just trying to marry each other off. I don't know, it was fun. It was really fun. I don't like Emma, the character herself. I think she's rude. I think she's spoiled. I think she's really, really annoying. She judges everybody and she says that everybody else is beneath her. And anything that she does, she's like, oh, I'm such a kind person. I'm trying to help everybody. I have no selfish desires. And I just hate her because I think she's really, really, really selfish. And the romance was kind of absent. I didn't really feel any kind of romantic feelings between these two people. But I mean, being there was fun, so the experience was fun. I gave it 3.5 stars, but I liked this experience because it helped me a lot. Just not the book itself. I don't think I'm a Jane Austen girl. I'm sorry. Wuthering Heights is one of my favorite books. Jane Eyre, I would die for any day. I just don't think that Jane Austen is in my range of tastes for whatever reason. Maybe I should give her another chance, but I don't really think so. Okay, April 2nd, I started oh my god. Again, no internet. I have to keep reminding you of this because having no internet for you is not really a concept that you can grasp because it's so far from your reality that I just keep reminding you that no internet. Okay, sorry. I'm going to try to stop doing that. But because of that and the fact that I had no new books, I was looking at the books that I had saved for years and the ones that I was supposed to read and never had the time, and I picked up Magnolia Parks. What a mess. I am honored to tell you that it was in the middle of reading Magnolia Parks that I texted my ex. If you want to draw some line between these two, be my guest. Because is there a connection? I wouldn't say that there isn't, because the dynamic between these two people reminded me of, yeah. So yeah, it was in the middle of this book that I texted her, and you will see that I started reading so much less books. Okay, I started Magnolia Parks on April 2nd, finished it on April 5th, and gave it 4 stars. I know that people genuinely like this book, and not because it has great writing. She doesn't really use some prose. Okay, it's exactly what it says. They're London elites. They're really, really wealthy, and they're this friend group of toxic, wealthy young children of English people, and they just have some toxic relationships and friendships, and it's just Gossip Girls, basically. Um, it's exactly what it says that it's going to be, and the prose are just not that flowery. She writes in the most normal way of writing. Even me, not a native English speaker, I can write like that. There's nothing special about the writing, but I don't know. She has these descriptions, and she describes things in a way that's not poetic, but it is poetic. I don't know how to tell you this. she describes feelings in a way that you can sense them. It's like she uses very simple, mundane experiences, but makes them something that is so touching. And it's like, since she's using an example that is so mundane, it feels special. I don't know how to explain it to you. I kept being shocked that, okay, you're not saying something special or poetic or something, but why is it so touching? So I really enjoyed reading that book. I had a very deep connection to it, and I just loved the way that she described love. And I really get the way that she describes love because that's how I experienced it. One day while I was reading this, there's a I'm not going to spoil anything, but one of the characters is explaining how much they love the other one, and they said, "Cut me and I'll bleed her." And I sent that paragraph to my ex and was like, "That's us." Because that's the way that I have experienced love. Magnolia and BJ's love is my type of love. And I was so shocked and I don't know, a little bit embarrassed to read it out on the page because I was like, ooh, do we sound like that to other people? I have grown. We have all grown. We are better now. We are not like that anymore. But I really enjoyed the book. I need to stop talking so much about my personal life. Oh my god. Finishing Magnolia Parks, I was still so obsessed with that story that on April 9th, I started Daisy Hates. I finished it on April 16th. Again, the time that it takes me to finish a book is getting longer and longer. Gave it 4 stars. Okay. Do I like Daisy Hates more than Magnolia Parks books? I think I like them equally. I love BJ and Magnolia more. I relate to them more. I relate to Daisy herself more. So it's 2 different type of things. I am Daisy. Okay, when I see Daisy, I'm like, oh, that's me. Oh, that's me. Oh my god, you're so me. So I really understand Daisy and the way her brain works and the way she reacts to her emotions and processes them. But if we're talking relationship, I prefer the relationship between Magnolia and BJ. If that makes sense. I love Christian. Okay, it's not that I don't like Christian. It's just that the relationship between Daisy and sorry, that was my mom. I just lost my train of thoughts. What was I trying to say? I think I was saying that I do like Christian very much. He's really my type. Not as much as Julian is. I think Julian is everybody's type. I like Christian too. I'm not saying that I don't like them or their relationship. I'm just saying that if we are saying character wise, I don't like Magnolia that much. Or BJ. I don't like either of them that much. Love the relationship. But character wise, I like Christian and Daisy way more than those two, but their relationship is not that top tier for me yet. Okay, I've read 1 book from Daisy, and as I was saying, okay, we were in the middle of something. I gave it 4, just like I gave Magnolia Parks books, and then I got to The Long Way Home. Started it on April 16th and finished it on April 29th. Gave it a 3.5. So liked it less than the last 2 books. Sorry, I'm just losing my voice. I'm not used to speaking this much anymore. And so what was it? I was trying to make a point. Sorry, I have ADHD. What was I trying to say? Yes, I was trying to say that as you can see, I read 2 Magnolia Parks books and 1 Daisy. So maybe the reason that I liked the relationship between these 2 more than the other 2 is because I read more from them. I will have a very better judgment after reading the next Daisy Hates books. And yeah, that's it. That's where I just stopped with that whole universe, and I was like, okay, I'm going to come back to you later. One reason was that I did not have the next book downloaded, and guess what? No internet. And then I was like, okay, too many romance books, too many relationships. Let's just switch genres. So I read The Truth About the Harry Quebert Affair. Started it on April 21st and ended it on May 1st. I gave this book 2 stars. So this is one of the books that I don't know over there. This is the only time that I don't know what's going on in America. This is one of the most famous books here in Iran. It was one of the first mystery thrillers that were translated. It's a very thick book, and everybody, when they want to talk about a very good thriller mystery, they say, okay, the Harry Quebert affair. And I'm like, it wasn't good. I didn't like the characters at all. The story was not really. It was just boring. I've read so many better mystery thrillers than this one. It was long. So long. For no reason. I was not really that interested in the whole concept of the book. It's like there was an author. He had a very major book. It blew up. Now he has a writer's block. And she goes to this town to his former professor, who's also a writer, to try and find an idea. And then that former professor is caught up in this mystery case of an underage girl being killed. Boring. It was boring. I didn't like him. I didn't like any of the characters in this book. Everyone was annoying in this town. Everyone was a bad person. Everyone was lackluster. No character I was like, oh, you're good. Everyone was just a cliche. I don't know. I didn't like it. And I was so disappointed because I thought, okay, this is a book that everybody loves. I'm going to love it. I hated it. I wanted to DNF it. I just wanted to see if it got better. It didn't. It was so boring that I don't even remember how it ends. And that's the part that you always remember about mysteries. The ending. I don't know how it ends. I have no recollection. Yeah, there were some plot twists that were not twisty enough, and it ended. It was fine. The ending was not that bad, but it was not something special, so I didn't really like it. Sorry, that's just my thoughts. So 2 stars. And is that it? Yes. With that, we're done with April. Again, my birthday is in April. I was born on April 18th. So yeah, I had a birthday in the middle of all that crazy shit happening. It wasn't a great birthday, as you can imagine, but I tried to honor it, I guess. And it was supposed to be one of my best birthdays because if I was there, it would have been a very big deal because I hit the age that a lot of people love to celebrate. I turned 21, but it was a very bad birthday. Let's just hope that next year will be better. I'm going to talk about the other books that I read in another video because this one is long enough and I just wanted to get it out there to you to finally reconnect with you guys because I missed you really, really much. Every day on that war, I was like, I really want to sit down and start filming for the day that I get internet and I can post it, but I really couldn't because I was like, what if I never can? You know, and I'm really glad that I'm alive and I'm here and I can talk to you about this, and I'm very, very thankful for your patience and the fact that you stuck it out with me, the fact that you're still here and watching this. I am beyond grateful, and I'm beyond grateful that I can do this, and I will do it as long as I can. So if anytime you see that there's no video, just know that it's not me, it's the state of my world. And keep me in your thoughts and prayers, and I hope that everything will get better for our people, for your people, for the people of the world in general. I hope that things go the way that we all want to. and we have wished for and we have dreamed for, and we can finally have peace, real peace, and we can finally start living, because for the past 47 years all we have done here is try to survive. That's it. Thank you so much for being here. Sorry if I didn't speak the way that I should, and I'm sorry if my speech was not great. Again, I haven't spoken in English for a very long time, and when I get excited, I can't even speak in my mother tongue, and I just get stuck, and everything just goes ah. And this is English, so it will take a little bit of time. Patient with me. I will get better. I promise you. Thank you so much. I love you. I hope you have a great day whenever you see this. And if you're here, I love you. Bye.